Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss about ninth class biology, sense organs. Previous class we discussed about introduction class about sense organs. So now let us go through that today. Uh, so previous class already I explained you a schematic representation of the nerve stimulation to response, and here already I said for responding to stimulation there is a process in which there were five parts are participated. Those are sensory nerve, sensory organ, and sensory nerve, and interneuron, either which is present in the spinal cord and brain, and also motor nerve and motor organ. So you have to keep in your mind. Let us know the about so some of the scientists have played important role looking back in history, and let us go to the history. Scientists from ancient times have wondered about the science. So, uh, nearly 2300 years back, Plato and then Aristotle mentioned the five senses of human, among which the sense of touch was considered the most important. So, among five senses, but the most important acceptable senses are touch was considered the most important. So in ancient Indian and Chinese medical documents also mentions of senses have been found. Thereafter, for over thousands years, no documents regarding the role of senses had been found till Albertus Magnus' contribution. So first in starting 2300 years back, Plato and Aristotle had mentioned about these senses and five sense organs. Among touch have played a major role, but in between again there is no story about them. Again, who came forward to give description about sense organs? Nothing but Albertus Magnus. So Albertus Magnus was a bishop in a church in Italy. So ఇతను ఒక అంటే చర్చిలో ఒక ప్రేయర్ అంటే బిషప్ ఏమంటాం మనం ప్రేయర్ అంటే జనరల్గా బిషప్. So, a keen observer of nature and lover of science who followed Aristotelian ideas and but commented on them for the first time, making them accessible for wider academic debate. He mentioned the role of nerves for the first time in the sensation of touch. So, his main contribution regarding to senses, he given as most important role nerves. So physiology of sensation has been studied in great detail only from the 17th century, as this was the prime time when several instruments were being invented to aid the unaided eye to observe more closely. Another scientist came forward, Johannes Kepler, well known for his contribution to astronomy regarding the rotation and revolution of Earth. So we know already, we studied about the rotation and revolution of the Earth. Earth have two movements, rotation and revolution. So that Kepler has given detailed description about them. And in recent years, scientists have uncovered new insight into how our senses work and all the amazing complexes and fascinating things they can do. So whether we are aware of them or not, the electrochemical basis of transmission of nerve signals and functions of specific areas in the brain involved in sensation are also better understood. So transmission, how the information have been transferred, and brain involved in the sensation totally we can understand by the in recent years. So the number of senses from Aristotelian era to the 19th century stands at 5. So while in the modern era this number signifies the sense organs in our body. So from ancient time to till today, the number of senses are totally 5, so that there is no changing of these sense organs, so that it will stand and at 5 while in the modern era also. So this is it is classically considered that humans have 5 sense organs, but in fact we may have many more senses. We have one sense of touch dedicated to pressure, another for heat, cold, so it another for vibration and texture. So that's just one of our traditional senses of touch. So we are having only 5 sense organs, but responses are more. For example, here touch receptors not only sense the skin but also touch, pressure. So these can be means one sense organ can play major role for to carry out multiple activities like pain, pressure, touch, temperature, all these. So for this we can conclude that one sense organ is not only for work one activity, but it is multiple activity. For example, nose is there, so nose for smell, and let us take for a best example tongue it for taste, but also it helps to the make sound. It helps to the mainly it helps to words converted into the as a sounds converted into the words. So that here nowadays these have been played major role. So now let us go to that clearly. So we have tinaga tinaga vemu tiyanundu. If you continuously eat neem leaves, and they will taste sweet. So here what happens when you take the tongue? So tongue it is senses, but it has more receptors. So for example, same kind of material when we eat several times we can get sweet nature. First of all, it is bitter in nature. మొదటగా చేదుగా ఉంటుంది, తర్వాత తీయగా ఉంటుంది, అంటే రిసెప్టార్స్ కెన్ చేంజ్ దట్. సో we should consider our sense organs to change detectors. If you have ever jumped into a cool pool on a hot day, you know that sensation is critically influenced by change. In fact, a main role of our stimulus detectors is to announce changes is the external world, a flash of light, a splash of water, a clap of thunder, the prick of a pin. And the receptors present in our sense organs specialize in gathering information about new and changing events. So whatever receptors present in the skin, tongue, nose, they can recognize variety kind of stimuli. For example, just now we discussed flash of light padetappudu, a splash of water, a drop of water padinappudu, a clap of thunder padinappudu, prick of a pen kuchinappudu. So the receptors present in our sense organs specialize the gathering of information, variety kind of information they may gather, and they may receive the special kind of information. So though our sense organs are changes, detectors usually small changes or unchanging stimuli often go unnoticed. Our senses accommodate to unchanging, aware of constant stimulation. For example, the sounds in a printing press may be very uncomfortable for a worker landing there for the first time. Eventually, as time passes, the person would not find the sounds too uncomfortable. So just now we said in above, when we take neem leaves, first it is very bitter, but regularly when we take the neem leaves, finally what happen, we get sweet nature. So similarly here, one of the sound, it is not comfortable at first time, but the same sound when you listen frequently, after that you can listen very enthusiastically. So this is only because of they may addict the senses and sense organs and receptors. So, what does all these mean for our understanding of the human sensation? The general principle is this: we are built to detect changes in stimulation and relationship among stimuli and often adapt to certain stimuli. So, here only we can understand that. The general principle of this one, we can detect the variety kind of stimuli and variety kind of responses and the relations of regarding to the variety kind of stimuli, then we can addict and adapt. So next, sense organs, our sense organs. So when you take about sense organ eye, so here the given when you take eye, so eye is the most important sense organ. Why? Because it makes to vision, it makes to see to us. సో మనం చూసే మన కళ్ళు కళ్ళు అనేటివి మనకి చూడడానికి అందాన్ని ఇస్తాయి. అందంతో పాటుగా ముఖ్యంగా దీని యొక్క యాక్టివిటీ ఏంటి అంటే చూపు. కళ్ళు జ్ఞానేంద్రియాలు ఎందుకు అంటే కంటి చూపు అనమాట, చూపుకు. అదేవిధంగా అందంలో కూడా మనకు ఉపయోగపడతాయి. So vision helps us to detect desired targets, threats, changes in our physical environment to adapt according. So how does the visual system accomplish this? So we shall do a few activities. Read the following sections to find out about this. So here eyes అంటే చూపు ఉండడం వల్ల మనకి ఏంటి లాభం? కంటి ద్వారా చూడగలుగుతున్నాం. అంటే కన్నులు అంటే ఐస్ ఒక సెన్స్ ఆర్గాన్స్ అంటున్నాం, ఇంపార్టెంట్ సెన్స్ ఆర్గాన్స్ అని అంటున్నాం. అయితే ఇవి ముఖ్యంగా మనకు ఎందుకు ఉపయోగపడతాయి అంటే డిజైర్డ్ టార్గెట్స్ అంటే మనం అనుకున్నటువంటి గోలుని అంటే చూడడానికి లేదా సాధించడానికి. అదేవిధంగా థ్రెట్ అంటే నీకు ఏదైనా నీకు అంటే నిన్ను చంపడానికి వచ్చినటువంటి థ్రెట్ అంటే ఏదైనా ఒక వస్తువుని గుర్తించడానికి, చూడడానికి. మరి ఈ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్లో ఏవైనా చేంజెస్ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేయడానికి, చూడడానికి ఐస్ మనకు ఉపయోగపడతాయి. సో లెట్ us go to that about now by slowly let us go to that activities. Activity 3, observe the external structure of your friend's eye, draw the diagram and label it. So you can take the pencil and paper, you can draw the diagram of eye by observing your friend. So next, go to the observe the eyeball of your friends in a normal light, then focus a beam of torchlight on your friend's eye. So what is our reaction? Why is it so? So whenever you may focus light on friend's eye, immediately your friend eyelids, eyelashes and will be closed. So these changes we can see this is the eye structure. First of all, let us go to the about the parts of the eye, structure of the eye. So now ask your friend to keep the eye closed for around 2 minutes. Now let him open the eye. Observe the size of the small and observe the size of the small black portion in the center. Ask your friend to keep his eyes open forcibly as you focus on the beam of torchlight this time. So observe what happens to the small dark portion. So here when we focus the light and when we close the light, so the eyeball, so the dark ball means the eyeball will be contract and expands and కన్స్ట్రక్టెడ్. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఈ కనుపాప అంటే కనుబొమ్మ అనేది ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుందంటే దగ్గరికి దూరం అనేది లైట్ వేసినప్పుడు మరి డార్క్ ఉన్నప్పుడు బ్రాడ్గా రావడం, అదేవిధంగా లైట్ వేసినప్పుడు చిన్నగా కావడం అనేది. సో నౌ లెట్ us go to the structure of the eye. So the structure of the eye, I have eyelids, eyelashes, eyebrows, lacrimal glands. సో eyelids అంటే కన్ను రెప్పలు, కన్ను వెంట్రుకలు, కన్ను బొమ్మలు, లాక్రిమల్ గ్లాండ్స్ అంటే అశ్రు గ్రంథులు. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏంటంటే కన్నీటిని లాక్రిమిన్ని సెక్రెట్ చేసేటువంటి గ్లాండ్స్ అంటే కంటి ఊసులను సెక్రెట్ చేసేటువంటి గ్రంథులు అనమాట, లాక్రిమినల్ గ్లాండ్స్ అంటాం. సో కంటి యొక్క భాగాలు. అదేవిధంగా కన్నుగుడ్డు యొక్క బయట ఉండేటువంటి పొరని ఏమంటున్నాము అంటే కంజక్టివా అంటున్నాం. ఏమంటున్నాము? కంజక్టివా. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఇట్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ ప్రొటెక్టివ్ లేయర్, ద outer most layer of the eye. The outermost layer of the eye. The outermost layer of the eye, it is a thin layer. It is called conjunctiva. And let us go to that. The eyeball is located in the eye socket. So this is కన్ను అనేది కన్ను యొక్క సాకెట్ అంటే గుంత, లోపల కన్ను యొక్క గుంత ఉంటుంది, కన్ను లోపల ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. మనకు కనిపించేటువంటి కన్ను భాగం ఎంత అంటే 1% మాత్రమే. అంటే కన్ను 6 భాగాలు ఉంటే అందులో ఒక భాగం మాత్రమే మనం బయటికి చూడగలుగుతున్నాం. మిగతా 5 భాగాలు ఆ యొక్క కన్ను యొక్క గుంతలో అంటే ఐ సాకెట్లో ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. సో నెక్స్ట్, ఐ హ్యాస్ 3 main layers. How many layers? 3 main layers. There are sclerotic layer or sclera, choroid layer and retina. So this is you have to keep in your mind. Eye mainly have 3 parts: sclera, choroid, retina. So these 3 parts. So you have to keep in your mind. I have 3 parts. I have 3 parts. That is I have 3 parts. The first part is sclerotic layer or sclera, and second part is choroid layer, and third part is retina. Next let us go to the outermost thick, tough, fibrous, non-elastic, white colored layer is sclera. So this is very very important. Sclera, it is the outermost layer and it is very tough and strong and fibrous, non-elastic and white colored layer is called sclera. The sclera bulks and forms cornea. The end of sclera connects to the optic nerve. So when we take about sclera, and it bulks out and forms cornea, and the end of sclera connects to the optic nerve. So next here you can take so the first part let us understand. Now this is the conjunctiva, and the first part of the eye is called sclera or sclerotic layer. So this is the sclerotic layer. The sclerotic layer which is bulged out, this bulged out part is called cornea. So this is called sclera. The first outermost is conjunctiva, it is a protective layer. After that which one we can see means sclerotic layer or sclera, which is bulged out portion it is called cornea, and it end means it this is generally we can take here open connect with optic nerve. This is the optic nerve we have. Back side means it connect sclera with the optic nerve. So this is the first layer. And next go to the that about second layer. The second layer is choroid layer, and this layer is black in color, contains a lot of blood vessels. So this layer is black in color, contains a lot of blood vessels. It encloses the eye except the part of pupil. The part formed by the choroid layer around the pupil is iris. So here the choroid layer, it is a black in color, contains a lot of blood vessels, and it encloses the eye except the portion of pupil. కనుపాప లేక కనుబొమ్మ తప్ప మిగతా అంతా కూడా ఈ లేయర్ అంటే సెకండ్ లేయర్ అంటే ఏంటి అంటే కోరాయిడ్ లేయర్ కప్పబడి ఉంటుంది. సో ద పార్ట్ ఫార్మ్డ్ బై ది కోరాయిడ్ లేయర్ అరౌండ్ ది పూపిల్ ఈజ్ ఐరిస్. సో పూపిల్ చుట్టూ ఉండేటువంటి పార్ట్ని ఏమంటున్నాము అంటే ఐరిస్ అంటున్నాం. సో ఇక్కడ మీరు పూపిల్ మరియు ఐరిస్ ఈ రెండు పార్ట్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. కోరాయిడ్ లేయర్, సో సెకండ్ లేయర్ ముఖ్యంగా ఇట్ ఈజ్ ఏ బ్లాక్ ఇన్ కలర్, ఇట్ సప్లైడ్ విత్ ది బ్లడ్ వెజల్స్, అండ్ ఇది మొత్తం కూడా ఒక పూపిల్ తప్ప అంటే కనుపాప తప్ప మొత్తం కూడా అమరి ఉంటుంది. ఆ పూపిల్ చుట్టూ కూడా మనకి ఒక కలర్డ్ పార్ట్ ఉంటుంది, దాన్ని ఐరిస్ అంటాం. ఏమంటాము? ఐరిస్ అంటాం. సో రేడియల్ అండ్ సర్క్యులర్ మజిల్స్ ఆర్ present in the iris. So it is important. Two types of muscles we can see, radial and circular muscles we can see. So next here there will be a biconvex lens is present immediately behind the pupil, which is attached to the ciliary muscles and suspensory ligament. సో బైకాన్వెక్స్, సో ఐ లోపల ఉండేటువంటి లెన్సెస్ ఏంటివి అంటే బైకాన్వెక్స్ లెన్సెస్. ద్విపుటాకార కటకం బైకాన్వెక్స్. సో కాన్కేవ్ అంటేనేమో కుంభాకార, కాన్వెక్స్ అంటే పుటాకార. కాబట్టి కంటిలో ఉండేటువంటి లెన్స్ అంటే కటకాలు ఏంటివి అంటే ద్విపుటాకార కటకం. సో ఇది ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది అంటే పూపిల్ వెనకాల ఉంటుంది. ఇది సిలియర్ మజిల్స్తో అతుక్కొని ఉంటుంది, సస్పెన్సరీ లిగ్మెంట్స్తో కూడా అతుక్కొని ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. నెక్స్ట్, ద లెన్స్ డివైడ్స్ ద ఇన్నర్ ఐ బాల్ యాజ్ aqueous chamber and vitreous chamber. These lenses will be divided two chambers and front aqueous chamber and vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber. First one, vitreous chamber and aqueous chamber is filled with water. So fluid, whereas vitreous chamber is filled with jelly like fluid. So one thing you have to remember here, the most important, the aqueous chamber filled with water, and whereas vitreous chamber filled with jelly like fluid. So the major differences in both aqueous chamber and vitreous chamber. AV aqueous chamber is the front, vitreous chamber is the back. So aqueous chamber aqueous chamber is filled with water and vitreous chamber filled with jelly like fluid. So next and third part. So third part is retina, contains the cells called rods and cones. Very very important third part. Why? Because if whoever asking the question which is the functioning part of the eye, so eye has three parts. Just now we studied, that is the first one is sclera, the second one is choroid, the third one is retina. Third one is retina. So sclera, choroid, retina. From these three, which is the functioning part means retina. The most important part of the eye is retina. So it is the inner part, it is the most important part in the eye. Retina contains two kinds of cells, and one is rods and cones. The area of no vision called blind spot. సో ఈ రెటీనాలో ఎక్కడైతే కంటి చూపుకి పనిచేయని భాగం ఉందో దాన్ని ఏమంటాం అంటే బ్లైండ్ స్పాట్ అంటాం, అంద చుక్క. ద ఏరియా ఆఫ్ ది బెస్ట్ విజన్ కాల్డ్ ఎల్లో స్పాట్. ఈ యొక్క రెటీనాలో ఎక్కడైతే చూపు మంచిగా కనిపిస్తుందో అక్కడ దాన్ని ఎల్లో స్పాట్ అంటాం. సో ద ఎల్లో స్పాట్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో కాల్డ్ మ్యాకులా ఆర్ ఫోవియా. అంటే కంటి చూపుకి పనికి వచ్చేటువంటి పార్ట్ ఉండేటువంటి రెటీనాని ఏమంటున్నాము అంటే మ్యాక్యులా లేక ఫోవియా అంటాం. మ్యాక్యులా లేక ఫోవియా. సో బై దిస్ now I will explain about diagram and clearly eye. So generally, so eye has the part is generally covered with a conjunctiva is the first one, and then when we go to the eye it has three parts. Already I said one is the sclerotic layer or sclera, second one is the choroid, and third one is the retina. SCR, you have to keep in your mind. SCR, sclerotic layer, choroid layer and retina. The sclerotic layer is the outermost one and which is bulked at corner, it is called cornea, and so which is connected with the optic nerve. And choroid, it is the second part, and which has mainly, it is the, when you take the choroid layer, this is the choroid layer here, which has generally what we can see that about around it connected the let us what we take pupil, and it is black in color, and it is surrounded the pupil, and around the pupil there is a colored part is called iris, and iris, behind the iris, and there will be a lenses are called here, there will be lenses are present. So lenses are present, these are the lenses, and this is the pupil, and there is the iris. So you can see that clearly here. What we can see, this is here the second part is the choroid. It has generally pupil, iris and lenses. So which lenses are present, which lenses are present means biconvex lenses. And also we can see here in this part there will be two chambers.